peace, big love, big blessings, even bigger living, everything that comes with it and everything in between. You are tuned into Thinking Out Loud with Samuel David. It's just a conversation. And of course, Thinking Out Loud is a safe space, a space of accountability, empathy, reflection, recognizing where we've been, appreciating where we're at, and setting forth the path to where we headed, opening up the world of those around us with the world around us. But enough of all that. All right, so today I got a special guest. All guests are special, right? But I got a special guest. She is a friend of the show, right? She's a friend of mine, licensed marriage and family therapist. She's all about that balance of real and celebrating her expertise in the therapy world, as well as keeping it real, right? What we call it, ratchetness and righteousness at the same time. And also she brings a level of expertise that balances therapy with faith as well. She is a great asset to this community here in Wichita, the therapy community. And she is one of the ladies who have been recognized and welcomed into the Goldman Sachs 1 Million Black Women in Business. Today I have Miss Gabrielle Jones.
Hi.
Welcome to the party, Gabby.
Thank you for having me, Sam.
Yes, indeed.
I appreciate this.
For sure. I appreciate you. And you see, we live on location at Healing and Harmony Therapy.
Listen,
it's clutch. So I start every conversation the same, Gabby.
Okay.
And I always ask everybody, if you tuned into the show, then you know the question. But if you haven't watched every episode, then you might be like, where we about to go?
Okay.
Because we swim on Thinking Out Loud.
Okay.
So my first question is, how is your spirit?
My spirit is full right now. It's very, very full. I feel like my cup is full and I feel replenished. I feel inspired. I feel rooted and grounded.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling today.
So them are some power words. Rooted, grounded, replenished, cup is full.
Yeah.
What put you in this space right now in your spirit?
So as you mentioned, I just got back from New York. I was flown out by Goldman Sachs to be a part of 1 Million Black Women, Black in Business. Out of 1,000+ applications, over 300 women were chosen to be flown out to Goldman Sachs and spend the next 13 weeks curating and upscaling their business. So being in a room full of Black women entrepreneurs from all different walks in their business was life-changing. We started sessions each day with some of the top professors at NYU Stern that we're going to be learning from over the next 13 weeks. We started the day with worship. They was playing The Best Is Yet to Come. They was playing all of the jams. They were speaking life into us. And don't get me wrong, it's going to be really hard and very challenging, but to be in that room and there's other women who are in the mental health business. Everybody has their own walk and there was no competition at all. There was no comparison. There was, oh my gosh, everybody spoke, everybody smiled, there was compliments flowing. If you began to speak negatively about yourself or doubt or anything like that, it was no, we're not doing that, because it was, oh my goodness, it was life-changing. And to think that I was only there for 2 days. I missed Monday. I was supposed to be there Monday, but the flight ended up getting delayed from Wichita. So Monday was terrible. I was supposed to fly to Newark and then they changed me to JFK and then LaGuardia, and I wasn't going to get in till 11, but I ended up getting there at 5. I had missed the whole first day. But God literally at that point, how I reframed it was he had to prepare me mentally, physically, and emotionally and spiritually for what was to come and who I'm about to be learning from. And it was just a very life-changing experience. We go back in June when we graduate, and that is back in New York, and I'm excited. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
You got me hyped. No, that's dope. And I love the message, the word that you receive from not just the women in charge, right? The women that's in the program, but your flight being delayed. I like to think it's a word in everything if you choose to read it.
I was so frustrated too. I was so mad. I was like, I don't even want to go anymore. But I was like, why? What am I getting from that? How, if I'm already feeling discouraged, this is exactly what the enemy wants me to feel.
Come
I
on.
serve a God of, he doesn't do confusion. He encourages you. I was being present. I needed to be where my feet are. So whatever he allowed to happen and why he allowed it to happen, I don't have no questions. I could, listen, it's fine. I'm blessed. I'm highly favored, and he did what needed to do. I met some of the most amazing women. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm here. I get to learn from y'all. I get to be in your presence. I'm so grateful because I know that you're about to pour into me, and I'm getting ready to receive. With what I do already, I do a lot of the pouring anyway. So to be
Into
able to
yourself.
sit back, into other people.
Okay.
So being a therapist, I'm constantly pouring and helping everyone else. And I don't also feel like I'm able to receive getting poured into on a consistent basis unless I'm at church. So for people to see me, hold space for me, to have the capacity, that meant so much. That meant so much.
That's fire. That's fire. Let's talk about the room a little bit.
Yes.
So you in these different rooms with all of these amazing women, Black women.
Yes.
Right. What were the range of different businesses that were represented?
We had doulas, we had mortgage brokers, we had artists, we had musicians, we had people who consult education, people who have started schools, people who, matter of fact, my business advisor, the one I'm learning from, Dr. Tamira Lucas, she started the largest Black co-working space in the United States, the co-working cube or the cube co-work. I can't remember which one it was, but we've had book writers, we've bookstores, we've had every single business that you could think of. There was tables. So the second day for lunch, they sat us at our respective tables in our fields and things. So just going around and seeing like, dang, like all of these, like you're really in these spaces. We had realtors, everybody who was just focused on, we had a popcorn. She was from Omaha, actually. There was 4 people from Omaha there too. So that was like, oh my gosh. People who had popcorn businesses and just like, they have storefronts and they have boutiques. They have everything that you can, nothing was off limits.
I love it. Ain't nothing Black women can't do.
Listen, I always told myself, the sky is the limit. No. And it was the sky, I forgot what she said. I need to remember what I wrote it in my book, actually.
Okay.
I'll tell you before we're done here, but it was like, the sky is just the beginning. It was something I was like, oh my God, I need to reframe that.
Yeah, I got a song where I say the sky ain't the limit, it's just another POV.
Period.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Like, now I'm just seeing the world differently from this point of view. So, well, you got me hyped. Black women are, I think, are the dopest creation God made, right? I love them so much. I got one for life and I made one.
Amen.
You feel me? Like,
yes.
Black women are just so dope. Okay, so we're going to go all over the place on Thinking Out Loud.
Okay.
But we ain't going to stray too far. So you mentioned a lot of pouring into others, right? As well as that balance of keeping your cup full as a therapist, as a marriage and family therapist. So it's not just a one-on-one thing. It's different energies at once coming at you. How do you balance keeping your cup full? Right. I know you mentioned church, but what else as a therapist? I think that's important for folks to hear, right? Like how you keep your cup full.
I am the queen of self-care.
Okay.
So yes, church, absolutely. Reading my word, worshiping takes me to a whole new level. But when I tell you I self-care it up like nobody's business, I'm talking about facials. I just got a facial before I went to New York. I go to Emerge Skin and Beauty. Shout out to Talicia. And I get massages, I get facials. I love to shop. That's a thing right there. But when I tell you, taking my dog to the dog park, all of these things, and spending time with myself, I didn't always used to be in a space where I could occupy my own. You just said something. You had a poll on Instagram that was like, do you enjoy spending time? I can't remember the question. But I remember, and I responded, I was like, well, out in public, it was always a thing, but not when I'm in my own comfort of my own, like home and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It took me getting to a space of being like, girl, do you enjoy your own company? Like, what is it about your company? How can you cultivate a space that you like and feel safe in? And so
Yeah.
that's how I really just pouring into myself, self-caring it up, going to church, worshiping. And I think being in relationship with the women that I'm surrounded in,
Ooh,
they
that's a
have
bar.
had a major impact on my self-esteem, my confidence, and I think the time that we spend just being, like we talked about, that balance of being, I can be Michelle Obama one day or I can be Cardi B
Come
the
on,
next
balance,
day.
balance.
Because, and they also get me out of the space of feeling like I just have to be so put together.
Yeah.
Because for what?
I
For
love
what?
that. And it's what I love about hearing that the most, and you see it in real life, right? But when you look at like TV shows and things like that, especially reality TV shows, like the thing people love, like your baddies, your loving, like all of them joints,
Yeah.
the picture is painted negatively
Yes.
for fun,
Yes.
right? But in real life, right, I think black women create community and hold space for each other better than anybody else does.
Agreed.
Like when I sit back and watch it and I'm like, damn, y'all are really dope. I can
Yes.
say that 100 times, just how dope black women are, right?
In New York, that's exactly what. So we was all there for this business conference, and then they took
Yeah.
us to dinner that evening. We had dinner. It was all fun and sophisticated. They had a DJ there. It was like a switch. As soon as everybody was done with dinner, they started playing all the all the line dances.
Yeah.
I learned boots on the ground finally. So I'm about to, me and my fan about to be out there.
I heard that's a tough one to do.
It was.
Okay.
But they taught me. They took their time. I taught somebody the Tamia line dance. Swag Surf. It went from real put together per se to
Yeah.
glow, Cardi, Meg, and just to see everybody in their natural element. No one's being judged. We're all able to let
Yeah.
our hair down and walk in our authenticity. Was oh my gosh, chef's kiss.
I love
What?
that. I love that's so dope too to me because when we, of course, they've cut DEI across the board, right?
Yes.
When I used to work in DEI, one of the biggest stats or they will show you is that black women more than any other demographic cover, right, or shrink themselves in the workspace, right? So again, just to hear that, that's so ill to that y'all was really like that because that carries on. Obviously, it's been a couple of days, been a day or two, right? And you still feeling full, still feeling good. So then
Yes.
that spreads to your world.
And some of
Right.
us wanted to shrink ourselves in there, even in that space. I remember them playing What You Know About Me, or it's 7 p.m. Friday. It's not there was,
Yeah, big
and I was
glow.
like, I had my cardigan on. I said, are we doing this? Is this the type of time we're on? And everybody was like, and so I was like, all right,
Yeah.
let's go. And we were like, okay, but it was like no one was judging. We had the space to just be. And then in the morning, we were all up at 7:45 sharp, down there ready to learn.
Ready to get to it.
So
I love it. I love it. All right, Gabby. So I've got different segments. So I'm thinking out loud.
okay,
This one is a room full of mirrors, right? And obviously, in a room full of mirrors, you by yourself. All you can see is yourself, right? You all four spaces got you covered with the mirror. As you step into this room full of mirrors and reflection, what do you see?
I see a woman who is lovable, who is worthy, who still struggles with seeing herself as those things from time to time. But I see a woman who has been through a journey, who has been rejected, abandoned, ridiculed. And I see a woman who is empathetic, a woman who is redeemed, a woman who chose to really walk by faith, and a woman who, I would say, cultivated a path for herself when I would say the entire world was against her. I wasn't supposed to be here
Okay, keep
today.
talking. Let me hear it.
And when I say that, it's like my parents had me when my mom was 37 and my dad was 40. Neither one of them wanted kids.
Okay.
And so they were like, well, we were like, okay, well, my mom was like, well, we're having a daughter. And my dad was like, what? I'm 40. And what I'm supposed to do? And she was like, raise her. And so I was the one who had the older parents, and they were pretty strict in high school and all of those things. And that's one piece. I'm not going to say I wasn't supposed to be here because of that, because obviously that was God's plan. But I'm thinking about the things that I've encountered and endured to bring me here. No, when I was in grad school, I was in this class. It was our theories class, and I was learning all of the theories, the main basic ones. So structural, strategic, experiential, all of the early theories. And I remember I was not grasping the information as well. And I turned in an assignment, and I remember getting an email about my grade in the class. They didn't tell me my grade, but they asked me to come in and have a review of progress, which is not good.
That's the professor. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the clinical director and the program director.
Oh, gang.
Yes.
Okay.
Versus just me. And so my anxiety was like through the roof. I got the email, then I went straight into the program director's office like, hey, what's up? Like, why did I get this email? And she's like, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I said, that's not going to work. I'm very anxious. Can you at least let me know? And she was like, do you know what grade you got in this class? And I was like, no. And she was like, I'm not even sure if you passed. And I was like, whoa. And so I knew what it was and what it was going to be going into it. So I spent that entire night just praying and really asking God to order my steps in that conversation. I remember going to the review of progress that next day. They told me I failed.
Okay.
And I was like, in grad school? Like, you can't get nothing lower than a B. And so I went and had the conversation, and I explained that, you know, I showed them emails. I had asked for help. I had asked for correction to make sure that I was doing it correctly or what I was missing. And in the midst of the conversation, she said, it sounds like you didn't really get the help you thought you needed or asked for. Blah, 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 blah. You can appeal the grade. I appealed the grade, and the teacher actually let me come back and redo the main assignment with help. I ended up getting a C, which was still pushing it, but they let me stay in. The other option that they gave me was to continue on with the rest of my cohort and then retake the class the next year and not graduate. That means I'm not getting my degree for a whole nother year. I can't even practice. Or I could appeal it and see what happens.
Okay.
I appealed it. I redid the assignment. I ended up passing the class. From there on, I was very strategic in how I finished my graduate career. I had a supervisor during the program that said, I'm not sure if you're cut out for this or if you're going to make it. I had a supervisor when I worked at St. Francis who said, if this is how you're acting, I don't know if you're going to make a good therapist. And I was like, that's all, turn me up. That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah.
Because
How were you acting for them to say that?
Apparently because the material was too hard. She was like, if you're struggling, what my supervisor said in the program was like, if you're struggling with this material now, this is pretty much the beginning of the program. I don't know if you're going to make it through the rest. And I was like, well, damn. Okay. We're going to see.
Yeah.
We're going to see. And from that moment on, when I tell you through fasting, through prayer, through real life, I learn. I'm a kinesthetic learner. So that means I learn by doing.
For sure.
I don't care what needed to happen. If I needed to learn a model, can you give us an example? Can you role play this out? I don't care whose class time I'm taking away from. I don't care how it makes me look. I'm understanding and I'm grasping that concept because I will never put myself in the position like that. Nonetheless, I ended up passing that class. I think with the C, it was a very high C, so I was right on the cusp of a B. And I had A's the rest of the program. I literally got to the end of the program and I was like, and I wanted to be like, so who wasn't cut out for this? But it was okay. I was humble, but I remember sharing a post and one of my old coworkers was like, remember when such and such said you weren't going to make a good therapist? She was like, I'm so proud of you. She's like, I'm about to share it. And then that same supervisor commented and said, wow, I am very proud of you. And I'm like, yeah, me too. So when I say I'm not, this was the result of hard work. DEI didn't get me here.
Word.
DEI did not get me. Hard work. It took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of like laying flat on my face at the altar, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Just asking God to continue to divinely intervene how he saw fit. If I was supposed to be in this profession and this is my calling, it's done. It's finished.
Let me ask you this, Gabby, because that's a hell of a story for one. right? Like to be able to go through it. You got to go through it to get through it, of course, right?
No cutting corners.
And then we at Healing and Harmony Therapies when they said you wasn't cut out to be a therapist. You feel me? It's a bar.
Yeah.
But you mentioned, in a room full of mirrors, right? The feeling lovable, feeling redeemed, right? And all these other power words you gave yourself. And then you mentioned advocating for yourself in a moment of like uncertainty.
Yeah.
What got you to that spot to feel lovable, of course, and it may be different times, and we can explore all of them, but also to have the gall to be like, no, I'm going to advocate for myself. You mentioned the anxiousness, right, of wanting to know what the heck was going on. You mentioned your faith and how you lean on that, but what gave you that power to truly walk in there and be like, yo, help me?
Yeah.
Right?
Facts. Because a good friend once told me, she was like, if you don't advocate for yourself, who's going to do it? And I think about, one thing my mom and dad love telling me is, I'm not going to be here forever. And as much as that hurts and stings, they're right.
Yeah.
And when I turned 18, my dad, unfortunately, he was like, all right, not you cut off, but I'm cutting back, basically.
Word. You only child. Okay.
And he was like, I'm cutting back. And I was like, he was like, you're going to have to figure it out. Get it how I live. Get it how you live. And I was like, I'm 18. And don't get me wrong, I was still lived at home. I was going to college and all of the things. But I remember moving out here in 2015 and I needed help paying my rent or whatever. It was like half. It was when where was I living? Tall Oaks.
Oh, wait.
Wow.
Okay.
That was way a long time ago. And he gave me like $475 and he said, that's it. And I was like, what you mean that's it? That was it. That was it. I had to figure it out. So whether I'm working 2 jobs, whether I'm door dashing, whether I'm doing the things, learning how to really show up for myself, because I am 18. If anything happens, I'm charged as an adult. I'm taking out, I have adult responsibilities, adult bills. My mouth and my words speak life or death. And from that moment on, I was like, if I don't go in here and talk to this program director, I'm going to be blindsided. I also think it's unfair because she's also a therapist. She knew the anxiety that email was going to provoke in any student.
Yeah.
And so being able to hold space for me was the main thing, that you knew what you were doing. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to succumb to that or sleep. And I had the on-call phone too. So I was on call and I was like, bruh, I can't. Help me.
Yeah.
You're going to give me something so I can prepare. I can self-soothe. And what I did was self-soothe that night. I was able to sleep peacefully, calmly. I was retracing all of the thoughts that I had in my head. I was journaling. And I went into that meeting the next day and I listened. I just listened to everything that they had to say. I didn't rebuttal. And when it was my turn to speak, I had a list of things that I felt were accurate and went wrong or wasn't up to par when it came to the instructor, perhaps. And just as I listened to them, I was going to be heard.
100%.
And I wasn't leaving until I was. Hence the fact they gave the option to continue on and just wait to get my degree or a year. They gave me 3 options. That was the first option, or to retake the course independently with a specific professor, like on my own. She was like, but it's never been done before. And I was like, okay, well, perfect time is now. Who do I need to talk to? How do it need to happen? And then that's when they gave me the 3rd option to appeal the grade. And I literally had to be God, but I was like, I'm definitely appealing it.
Yeah.
And I got an email later that night that said, okay, you get the chance and opportunity to recomplete this whole assignment. It's due by da-da-da-da-da. And I got it in.
Come on. Go crazy. Go crazy. So, okay. I love that because that gives us a lot of space to even to cover a little bit, right? Almost in the spirit of learning, right? And we're still in this mirror room.
Okay.
Is that weird as a therapist, hearing questions like this? I always wonder. No. Okay, good.
It feels very authentic because I think about in Omaha, there's this restaurant called Let It Fly. There is a room that you walk into and you're surrounded by mirrors. You can see the front of you, you can see the sides, you can see the back, and it's literally just you.
Yeah.
And there is no hiding from you.
Ooh,
you can't.
No hiding.
The most authentic and real pieces, the pieces that you don't want to show anybody, they'll be, you can see them from
Yeah.
any angle. If I got a roll right here and I'm trying to hide it, that mirror is going to be like, I'm here.
Come on.
So,
Ooh, and mirrors don't lie. That's why I love the question of what do you see? Because what you see is your truth.
yes.
Right? Like the quote, every mom thinks their baby is the prettiest, right? When they might not be. But if that's what you see, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? And
Absolutely.
so that's a bar. Let me ask you this. What is the last thing that you had to unlearn about yourself?
The last thing, ooh, I feel my heart rate probably going up.
I love it. We here. We here.
We are. And I said nothing's off, that I'm too much.
Okay. Expound a little bit.
Since I've grown up, everybody in my life has always said, oh my gosh, you're such a drama queen. Gabby, don't be dramatic. I've had friendships and occupied spaces where I've been too much by just being me, whether it's my laugh, whether it's my ability to have fun, whether it's me dancing, it doesn't matter. I've been in multiple spaces where I've been told my presence and just who I am is too much. And I remember multiple times shrinking myself to make other people, men and women, feel seen. So me taking a back seat so they could rise. But what am I doing that for? Because that was a disservice to me. And so I finally got to a space, I would say 2021 is really where that shift happened. And I really began to see myself in God's image. I'm not too much. And I won't be around people or occupy any space that doesn't allow me to take up space. When I walk into a room, I command any room I walk into. That's a lot for some people. And I also, just because that happens doesn't mean that you cannot sit right next to me and we can command this space together. Matter of fact, I want to. I want you to be right here with me. And so from 2021 until now, it took a lot of, you're not too much. You're not too much. My friends telling me, I actually had a conversation with my friend last month, and she doesn't know how healing this was. But I remember sitting at her apartment and I was saying sorry for something. I was like, I'm so sorry if I said it wrong or if it came across wrong. She said, stop. And she just looked at me and said, you're not too much for me. And I about bawled because I needed to hear that, and I needed that to be reinforced. I'm not too much. And if I am, that just means that we're not in alignment, and that's okay. I'm not in alignment with a lot of things and a lot of people that I once was, and that's okay because I make room for people who don't think I'm too much in spaces to sit in my front row.
Yeah. Ooh, that's hard. Sit in my front row.
Everybody cannot sit in my front row anymore.
Come on. So discernment. I'm big on discernment. And so obviously you're hearing you're too much from people that you love, that you care about, that you value their thoughts, their word, right? What did it take for you to truly recognize, like, yo, though I love these people that are telling me this, they wrong? Or was it like, okay, where am I too much? Like, where did the balance come in to really recognize, like, okay, I'm not too much, I'm me?
That I'm not too much on me. I think it took me, well, it took therapy for one, and it took my therapist really, really enforcing what a safe space looks like to me. Boundaries. I realized at that point in time, I didn't have boundaries. People don't understand that boundaries provide safety, and boundaries mean I move. That doesn't mean Sam moves. If Sam comes in here and he's like, well, Gabby, let's say you came in, we were supposed to start at 3. Let's say you just now got here. Sam, if you're late again, I don't know if I can work with you anymore because blah, 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 blah. That's not a boundary. That's a rule. That's an ultimatum. That means I'm giving Sam the ability to move and to dictate what's going on. Boundaries say, you know what, Sam, I really value time management and I really value integrity. And I don't know that you showing up late is in alignment with what you have going for Thinking Out Loud. I don't know that we're going to get the most of this episode, and I don't know that your time was respected or mine. Moving forward, if Sam's late again, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to continue to occupy the space that we're in. Does that make sense? Boundaries mean I move, not nobody else. So what I realized was I was waiting on people to change. I was waiting on people to treat me different, to, I would say, talk to me different, to have more empathy and understand. What? I'm not waiting on anybody.
Yeah.
If I don't like, and I had to learn, if I don't like how I'm being treated, and I don't like how you make my nervous system feel, not only you got to go for sure, but most importantly, I have to go. I've been occupying spaces where I am celebrated, not tolerated. Don't tolerate me.
Ooh, celebrated, not tolerated.
Celebrate
Ooh,
me.
I love it. So, hey, that was just a hypothetical, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, we wasn't late. Like,
Yeah.
I want people
No,
to, like,
sorry, yes.
No,
Sam was definitely on time. We both were.
We both were, for sure. No, that's major. No, I think that's the beauty in boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Like, often tell a story of, I had a loved one of mine who we had like a weird relationship. And we were having a conversation that was detrimental to the whole family.
Okay.
Right. And they pulled up, and they were the first one that pulled up. And at this time I was using Sage. So I saged my house.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, that's giving me a, look, what's the sage for? And I was like, well, you know, it's to purify the room, release like any ill intent. And they were like, oh, well, it's giving me a headache. And I was like, well, it's working. Right. Like, you in my space.
Yeah.
You can't tell me what to do in my space. You can't tell me how to navigate and operate my space. And that's a boundary, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, I love
And
it.
if you don't like it, unfortunately,
Or unfortunately, it just is what it is. Right?
It is.
Like, it just is what it is. With love.
if that person respected their boundaries, they would move, and they would take that into their own hands.
That part.
Yeah.
Oh, I love sitting with therapists and counselors. Y'all got so many isms. Okay, last question. As we talk a little bit of this room full of mirrors and self-awareness. On the flip side of unlearning,
Okay.
what is the last thing that you learned about yourself that you was like, ooh, I didn't know that.
The last thing that I learned about myself.
About yourself.
This sounds so cliche or weird, possibly, but I'm really sensitive.
What's your sign, Gabby?
I'm a Gemini.
Okay, keep going. There's two of you. That makes sense. Keep going.
I
Makes all the sense in the
am
world.
so sensitive, and I think for the longest time, because I was called dramatic and because I took up so much space, or I'm too much, I kept a lot of that in. I think it's always been there, but I am sensitive, Samantha, because
Yeah.
I have so much. I feel like I have so much love to give, to receive. Everything almost touches me to a point where I'm like, Gabby, pull it together. But seeing people win makes me emotional. Seeing people lose, it makes me like. There was this lady in the airport when we missed our flights and stuff. We missed our connecting flight. There was this woman in the airport, and I don't have any children, but they were supposed to be rebooked. She was trying to buy a ticket for a flight to Syracuse, and it was the last flight out. And they had her waiting there for an hour. The flight boarded in 15 minutes. And so someone told her to go up to the counter, and the supervisor just kept walking past us. She was ignoring us. She was not focused on anybody. The lady finally came over there, and the supervisor finally came over there, and she was like, hey, I'm just trying to buy a ticket. It was her and her husband to Syracuse. I have a very important appointment I cannot miss. Brushed her off. This lady screamed at the top of her lungs, was like, I have my IVF implantation appointment tomorrow at 5 a.m. This is my only chance at having a baby. Oh my goodness. She was sobbing, and I was like, oh my God. I feel. That was not even mine to feel. And I was like, you could see it on her face, but I just wanted to hold her. I just wanted to hug her. I don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
But that is where I say, like, that's where my sensitivity comes in. But my love knows no bounds, and that can be definitely detrimental. Learning that I am sensitive has helped me in my friendships and relationships be okay with that. I'm okay. When people cry, we often go like this, or we hide our face because we're embarrassed or we're shy or whatever the case is. My tribe now, I don't have to do that. I don't have to. I can hold my head up.
Yeah.
They let me be sensitive. They hold space for my sensitivity. They give me hugs. You know, we need 8 hugs a day, a minimum, to survive.
I've heard that.
Yes. They hug me. They will hold my hand. They're not afraid of physical touch. I pray for the tribe that I have in my life right now. And knowing that vulnerability and sensitivity is not a weakness. It's actually your greatest strength. People are at their strongest versions. I tell my clients this all the time. You're the strongest version of yourself when you are sobbing and weeping and you are just expressing and letting it all out. You're the strongest version of yourself, because every single day, anybody can wear a mask. Anybody can act like things are okay. It takes a real strong, genuine, authentic person to display that and to display it openly. The more I have come into a secure attachment, I didn't always have a secure attachment.
Okay.
But the more I've come into my secure attachment, I've been okay to do that and not think that it's weak or I display strength. I want to do that, and I want to be the example for those around me to also know, girl, come lay your head.
Yeah.
Or just come lay, or just do anything, or I'll hold your hand. I will hold you. I'm not going to let you go.
Yeah.
You are safe. So I think learning that I'm sensitive to a really good extent has allowed me to just really I feel like a free bird sometimes.
I love that.
I really do.
It's nothing better than a free bird, because you fly where you want to go. You go as high as you want to go. You go as low as you want to go.
Yes.
You do what you want, because it's a big world.
Yes.
So as I'm hearing you, Gabbi, I'm thinking like, yo, it's something I say in any profession, right? Like anybody that has a profession, like how much do they carry that profession with them at home in their day to day? So as a marriage and family therapist, so obviously these are the things you're telling people day to day.
Yep. Yes.
Right? Like this is what you do.
Yes.
Clearly you've gotten over the challenge, but it sounds like there was a challenge to walk in that path for yourself. Why do you think that is?
I think growing up Black and in a Black household, my mama still does it to this day. Oh my God, what are you crying for? Or it's not that serious. Or she's quick to be like, don't cry. And I'm like, oh my God. And now at 30, I'm like, you know what, Mom? I'll actually call you later. And we'll get off the phone. Because I move. Boundaries mean I move.
Yeah.
And then she'll be like, no, wait, I'm sorry. Because she's still trying to unlearn.
She's got cycles to break.
And so I think my own journey of saying, it's okay. But learning, and even as a therapist, I don't ask my clients to do nothing I'm not willing to do. But knowing that there is time and space to be vulnerable. Everybody doesn't deserve that level of access to me. So I think really learning that I can occupy space. And I was always the person, and I would even say now, I trust you until I don't have a reason, until you give me a reason not to.
Okay.
My mom and my parents, and I think a lot of people around me for the longest time, they don't trust you until you show them that they're trustworthy.
Yeah.
And my mom always told me I had a really big heart. You have too big of a heart. You're too nice. You have to get a little bit mean before I leave this earth. And I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And so thinking of neuroplasticity and those neural networks that has been embedded in my life since I've been born, unlearning that and allowing myself to just be.
Yeah.
To just be.
Man, it's so much power. It's so heavy, but I love what's heavy.
Yeah.
It's deep, right? I love to swim as well. when I think about like previous generations and the game they give us, right, and the learned experience the lived experience that they have to offer, the game that they have, right, and it's such a duality to it because on one side it's like, yo, they've been through it. In most cases, they know what they're talking about,
Facts.
applicable to their situation,
Yep.
right, or situation similar. But I think the other side of that is the consideration of the way the world is moving now, the way the culture has changed, the way different things, like the world has shifted. So some of those same rules don't apply today.
Exactly. I say
Right.
that all the time. I love that you said that because those rules served me and protected me in a season that I needed it.
Yeah.
I'm not in a season where I need that same protection or I need to abide by those same rules.
You feel me?
The book of Ecclesiastes talks about there's a time and there's a season for everything. There's a time to love, there's a time to hate, there's a time to live, and there's a time to die. My season right now doesn't mean that I'm operating by that previous set of rules. Just like in that time, as we know, Black people, what happens in this house stays in this house. That was applicable and that protected them in that season.
Yeah.
I abide by that to a certain extent now. And also, I can't ask my clients, people who don't know me, from a can of paint to show up here every single day and to ask them their deepest, darkest secrets and to be vulnerable to really create and cultivate change without doing it.
Fact.
I don't sit in that chair and be a hypocrite. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Okay. I love it, Gabby. I love it. I love it. Okay. So this next segment is called Can I Talk My Shit?
Period.
Right. And when I ask the question, can I talk my shit? I used to rap. I still rap. But it's like that was
And
my
you
focus.
act, clearly.
And I get busy. I try to do everything that I can do. If
I did not know you acted. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let's go.
Yeah, kind of, God gave these gifts, and I'd be a fool to bury them. But we ain't talking about me.
Okay.
So, but can I talk my shit? So really, a belief that you stand firm on, and there's no rebuttal in the room right now, right? This is a moral, a foundation, a rule, whatever that you believe 10 toes down. You can say it with your chest. What is something you stand firm on no matter what?
Hold on.
Oh, you
I got it.
down.
I got it.
I love that. I love that.
Ooh. And this is just in regards to
Anything, like
yes.
aliens come down, they like, yo, tell me one thing that you truly believe that can't nobody tell you shit about.
Consider it casual and circumstantial until their actions become chronically consistent and create change.
Oh, that's a crazy alliteration.
It is.
So one more time for me.
Consider it casual and circumstantial until their actions become chronically consistent and create change. I got that from my previous therapist, October 26, 2023. That's how deeply rooted and embedded. And I have lived by that ever since. Consider it, I'm gonna say it one more time.
Yeah.
Consider it casual and circumstantial until their actions become chronically consistent and create change. Meaning, any ship, friendship, family ship, relationship, I'm considering it casual and circumstantial until their actions become chronically consistent and create change. I need to see consistency. I need to see it chronically.
Yeah.
And I need to see the change that's being created. I need to benefit from that change as I hope they benefit from the change. But until people are always talking about make sure your actions line up with your words. That is a deeper version of that
100%.
to me. I live by that because that's where we begin to overextend. That's where we get our hopes involved in certain things. That's where we expect people where we should not have expected anything from them. I think about it from a dating aspect too. Women and men date differently. And I talked about this already previously, but men usually date 0 to 100. Women date 100 to 0. We should, if we consider
give me a little
it,
more on that. What you mean?
So,
because now we can I talk my shit? Now we talking. Let me hear.
yes. So I talked about this with Chris a little bit, but when you ask him, oh, how you feeling about such and such? He's like, oh, she's cool. I'm still getting to know her. I've only spent a couple times with a couple dates with her. We're figuring it out.
Okay.
0 to 100. So she's probably at a 20 or a 30 or a 40. Who knows? Women, oh, you and such and such are talking. How's that going? Oh my God, girl, he washed my car. He did this.
Okay.
He took me on a date. He's so good. He met my kids. 100 to 0.
Yeah.
When shit hits the fan, you're gonna be like, oh my God, I had him up here. He was really a 70 or 80 when he should have been a 10 or a 20. Consider it casual and circumstantial until their actions become chronically consistent and create change.
That's fire. That that's an interesting statement, and I'm not rebuttaling it.
Yeah.
I always got to put
No,
that
go
caveat
ahead.
out there because I said it's no rebuttal, but it makes me think of like unconditional love because it's almost the opposite.
Do you think there is such thing as unconditional love?
I truly do believe that, but it also like what is love, right? Like when I think of my kids, I love my kids. There's no conditions.
Absolutely.
Like those are my children. My wife, no conditions.
Absolutely.
Right. Like I think there are relationships that hinge on, there's conditions if you hurt me, if you harm me, because hurt is one thing, but harm is different, right?
Yeah.
But I also recognize like, what is love? Right? Is it a Gabbi love? Is it a spiritual love? Is it a intimate love? And intimate love, I believe, does come with conditions.
Yeah.
Right.
It
So
sucks, but I agree.
You feel
and
me?
I do believe that there's unconditional love too. And it's like I say that, but then the second I feel betrayed or crossed, or my value, like I told you, my number one value is authenticity, and then right behind that is loyalty.
Yeah.
I wish I could get loyalty tattooed right across my forehead.
You'd be loyal to the statement of
Listen.
loyalty. You get it on your forehead.
But when I feel those things, I'm like, now I'm mad, and now you don't get. Now I can't forgive you, or now all of these things, all of these triggers, and the things that I've healed from are brought to the surface. So then I ask myself, is it unconditional? Because, and then I think of marriage vows: sickness, health, better, worse. All right, that's. Whew, there's probably a reason that I'm not there yet, but I also
That's a bar.
Yeah, because I desire that, and I know it's coming. And if my husband was just dropped right here today, and if somebody asked me if I'm fully equipped and prepared to be the wife God has called me to be, no.
All right, let's talk. Now we talking. Now we really talking, especially as a marriage and family therapist. So I can imagine that in your expertise, you've heard a lot of people fall out of love. Right. And you mentioned being ready to be a wife. I often hear people say they're not ready to be a parent. I think there are certain relationships that you don't get ready for.
Yeah.
But you get, I want to say groomed for. You get presented opportunities to get better at.
Yeah.
Throughout.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I say all that to say, like, somebody can definitely not be ready for marriage. If you're on some bullshit, you still out here touching everything that's there to touch, right? Like your mindset is like,
wow. Yeah.
You're wild, right? But if your mindset is like a selfish mindset, I think there's room to get ready for marriage.
Absolutely.
Right? Especially through like engagement and things like that. And that's why I think the engagement period is important, because now you get to say, we committed, we gonna work towards this thing that's coming soon. But thinking of marriage, you mentioned, would you be ready? When you, and I'm sure it's not a client therapist privilege thing. I don't want to break that, of course, but what is one of the biggest or most consistent reasons you see people fall out of love or marriages struggle?
Well, they come into therapy thinking that they got communication issues.
Okay.
However, it is lack of connection. It is lack of intimacy. It is lack of intentionality. It is selfishness. I see a lot of contempt, and contempt is the putting your partner down. If you sitting there talking and you walking away from somebody while they're talking to you, using you statements. It's how you speak, the tone, all of that combined, which creates distance. People feeling like roommates in their household. I would say children play a huge part because I see a lot of people who have different parenting styles and communication styles that they've never even taken the time to ask or inquire about. You come in here and tell me y'all been together 10 years and we sit down and I ask about the way you parent. I'm just being curious and I'm just asking about the way you communicate and what that looked like and where that come from. And then now everybody's sitting here like, dang, I didn't know that. And I'm asking your partner, well, did you know that?
Yeah.
No, but y'all been together 10 years. At some point in all relationships, that's why I can't stand, and I do it myself, so I'm guilty of it too. I know him. I know what he's going to do, or I know what I've been with her 10 years, yada, yada, yada. Okay, well, you don't. And you've gotten to know them. And then at some point you stopped and you put them in this box that you have them confined to. So they don't have room to grow outside of this box because you have them in there. You stop being curious about why your partner shut down. You stop being curious about why they walk away. Real story.
Okay.
The guy I'm dating right now, he shuts down often.
Okay.
And it's shutting down for me is like being ignored. So that's like my number one trigger in life is being ignored. So I would find ourselves in these to any capacity, like, oh my, whether it's text, call, if I'm asking you something, you just sitting there silent, it will take me from 0 to 1,000. So at some point we would be getting into disagreements and things like that. And he would just shut down or walk away and not say anything. And my blood would start boiling, my heart rate. Now I'm following you around the house. But that goes back to not being good enough or being unloved or unlovable. And so I finally.
So your own stuff.
Yes. But then
projecting.
I had to. Yes. But then I took a step back and was like, bro, if he does this every single time, why? Have you even asked why? And we were just talking in conversation one day. So that was a conversation I had with myself. We were in conversation one day just talking and he was like, well, oh my goodness, I just can't stand getting yelled at. The entire time growing up, my dad yelled at me like crazy for track, for football, for anything that I ever had to do. He was always yelling at me. He could never have a regular conversation. And then I was like, oh, that was a gut punch to me because I put my partner in this box. He just shuts down because whatever reason I had come up with in my head. I didn't even ask him, but we just through regular conversation and me being curious, I figured out why. Now, with that information, I can say, I don't want to be anything like what he's used to or any relationship that resembles that. So I need to work on how I'm already a loud person. My voice kind of carries, but making sure that I'm mindful that I'm not yelling because it would be, it would literally shut down and my voice would go all the way up immediately, but I'm not getting what I want anyway. What am I doing? I'm not getting what I want. He's literally still walking away. He's still not saying anything, which is triggering me. Now we're just doing the dance that no one wants to do.
I love the human side of shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like to hear your honesty.
Yeah.
In that, right? Your vulnerability in that, right? To be like, yo, I'm creating, now I'm not the problem.
Yeah.
But I'm creating more problems for the problem we're trying to solve.
Yep.
Ooh,
yes.
That's a bar.
But people don't think about, again, working. If I bring the Bible into this too, are you checking yourself before, when God is really showing me correction and I'm asking him a revelation and clarity about a situation, I could be so upset and mad, but 10 times out of 10, he's not checking them. He's checking my heart posture towards a situation and about to gather me. Hence why I said, had I not had that conversation with myself first, and then through conversation with my partner, there was no, these are the ways you get ready for a marriage.
I like that.
So
I like that.
Being humble enough to say, yes, I am a marriage therapist, but I tell my clients too, I'm human.
Yeah.
A therapist is not who I am. It's what I do for work.
Ooh, that's a bar. Okay.
So.
No, I love that. I love that. Man, I've been married for, it'll be 14 years this year.
Period.
And the thing that has always rang true for us is it's always about the issue, right? Like it's never a personal thing. And that helps conversation so much. That helps growth so much, right? And it's a forever growing thing because I think when people get in relationship, ooh, my mind is moving. I'm thinking out loud now. I think what happens when people get in a relationship, right? They feel like, for one, like you mentioned, they put people in a box. They feel like
Yep.
they know it all. We judge others off their actions, but ourselves off intentions, right? And we forget that people are continuously growing, right? Like there can be life changes that impact. I'm not the same person at the core I am,
Yeah.
but I'm not the same person my wife married 14 years ago, right?
Yeah.
She's not the same person. We've grown together,
But
right?
you've also created space for each other to grow and to spread their
Yes.
wings and their branches without confining each other, though.
100%. And I see that being a big issue with folks these days. They don't give each other room to grow, right? It's
Not
like,
you, you doing something over here. I'm like,
I'm just thinking out
yeah,
loud,
no
right?
facts.
And there's so much power in giving people room to grow and giving them space to grow. Like I I never want my wife to change.
Yeah,
I want to be a better person, which then helps our team be better,
I love that.
right? And
Nothing changes if nothing changes. And if I always like when people come to therapy, when you come and you do the work on you, every other ship in your life will be able to see the benefits of you working on yourself.
100%.
So if I am working on me yelling or whatever the case is, and I'm working on channeling that, my friendship should see it, my family should, my partner definitely should, but I should as well. So I love
Yes.
that.
And it's contagious. That's the name of my coaching company, right? Best You, Better World.
Yes.
Because when you're the best version of yourself, your world is that much better.
I love that.
It goes back to what you mentioned earlier, right? Being able to be poured into in such a way that now everything around you is feeling it.
Yeah.
It's contagious. That energy is such a real vibe. So, okay, another question about relationships, Gabby.
Okay.
So this one is called If I Rule the World. And it's a big vision thing, right? And it's a lot of responsibility in ruling the world.
Okay.
Right. But I'm going to keep it relationship wise. If you had the power to change one thing about the way people approach relationships and healing, what would it be?
If I had, repeat it again.
If you had the power to change one thing about the way that people approach relationships and healing, what would it be?
I want to say, I feel like this sounds surface level, but I would say the ability to have humility. And I say that because I see people come in and they want it their way. They're right. Their partner's wrong, or this is how it needs to look, as opposed to taking a step back and being meta and saying, can I humble myself before my wife, before my husband, before my partner, and acknowledge that I'm not who I think I am. I still have room to grow. I still have room to improve, and making sure that while I'm doing that, I'm still operating in my authenticity, not going into it with the know-it-all mindset. And if this doesn't change, and being so rigid.
Okay.
Why do things have to be so? Why do relationships have to be, or appear to have so much rigidity to them, as opposed to saying, you know what, I was wrong. You didn't deserve that. I fucked up. Moving forward, I want to do this, this, and that. I would also say people's ability to effectively apologize. There's a template that I use called the effective apology, and it gets people from using you statements to I statements, but it also helps people name their emotions, especially when it comes to men. Being able to say, babe, that was embarrassing, or that made me feel insecure, or that. So I think all of that summed up, going back to the vulnerability of relationships, because if you can't be vulnerable with the person you're trying to do life with, who can you be vulnerable with?
Come on.
Like, what are we doing here? If I have to act like or play this game that I'm not hurt or I'm not fucked up about you or the situation. What are we doing?
Come on.
The I don't cares. I do. You know I do. But we live in a society where
Yeah, no, straight up.
we live in a society where the person who cares the least wins. What kind of shit is that?
Backwards.
What are we doing? And it makes me so mad because what are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm fucked up about you. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I don't like this. It's not healthy. And I know that you're my person, but I want to fix this with you. Actually, I want to heal this with you. I don't believe nothing or nobody is broken. I want to heal this. What is the foundational pieces of our relationship? What did we start this upon? Was the foundation already shaky? Was it built on broken soil?
Yeah.
What do we need to change? And I say we because it takes two. Black folks always talking about 50-50 and all of that. No, ain't nothing 50-50. Some days with you and your wife, if she don't got it that day, it might be 0-100. If you don't, it might be 60-40.
We have a mantra of 100-100.
Period.
Right? Like, I'm going to give 100%, and the expectation is you give 100%.
Yes.
If you are unable to give your full 100%, all right, I need to be at 130 to match your 70. Because life is real and I get it. Right? Or if I'm at 20, hey, I need your 180.
Yeah.
If we're both at 100, life is great.
Yeah.
But it's a true balance because the marriage is the thing, but there's also the individuality. So I have to be able to give what I have to give to this thing for us to be great. Right? And it's a real thing. Hearing you talk, right, something that keeps popping out in my head is the conversation of women being submissive. Right? And of course, it's written, right?
It is.
It's biblical.
It is.
The part that people always leave out, the scripture before that, where it says that a man is to love his wife like Christ loved the church.
Hello.
And he died for that.
Like Christ, I need to, is that Ephesians? People talk about, yes.
100%.
People talk about Proverbs woman. I need an Ephesians 5 man. That is, I love that.
It's such a real thing, right? When I think about that, I consider he died for the church. And that's dying to your pride, dying to your lust, dying to whatever it is to keep this thing alive.
Yeah.
Right. And in that, the next piece, definitely be submissive in a way that you trust me.
Yeah.
No, I ain't saying bow down.
Yeah. But I can't submit to a man who's not submitted to God.
Come on.
If we are in this thing, as we say we're in this thing, I need you. Are you on your knees in your prayer closet praying and interceding over me and our union?
Yeah.
Don't run to nobody else. Run to the Lord about me. Because I guarantee I'm doing the same.
That might be the name of this video. Run to the Lord about me. And that's a bar.
Listen, sprint. Please. Sprints. I don't need,
Okay, so we've talked about if I ruled the world, let you talk your shit a little bit. We stepped in a room full of mirrors. I got some other questions I got to ask you because, I do my research. I do my Twitter, my X's, my Instagram, my Facebooks, right? Because I like to know who I'm talking about. I know my people, but I like to know who I'm talking about. So social media has changed a lot of the way people connect. And you got balloon popping,
yes.
right? Like when it comes to building relationships and things like that. But it also is a platform. I think like any tool, it depends on how you use that platform.
Agreed.
Right? Do you think that social media has made relationship, and this is relationship in general, friendship, intimate relationships, right? Has made relationships better or worse?
Worse.
Worse.
Because comparison is a thief of joy. If I'll use Valentine's Day, I think is key. So.
Yeah. Talk to me. Hold on. Are you one of the ladies who's like, I don't care. It's just another day. And then the day comes and it's like, yo, what's up?
I'm both.
Okay. Gemini.
I don't know how that makes sense, but I realize and recognize that I can be both. And it wasn't, and I say both because this year is when I actually was like, bro, this is literally another day. And respectfully, me and mine, we go out to eat too many times a week anyway. So like we're going out and we spend, date nights are intentional. every Tuesday is like clockwork. No matter what we doing, no matter what argument we've gotten in, disagreement, Tuesday, you need to show up and show out for each other.
I love that.
So it was this year that I was just like, nah, it's another day. And then I say also, I think the intentionality of Valentine's Day, because I'm okay and content with the relationship or getting a bear, a card, chocolate, like all of the things you get on social media. Oh, Shorty got a Chanel bag. She got 2 stacks. She got
flown out.
Oh my gosh. She got a G-Wagon. She got all of the things. And now I'm like, or anybody. And like, and thank God I'm not that way. But I remember one of my friends was like, oh my gosh, I got on social media and I da-da-da-da and I want this. And I was like, no, that's not your story. And also, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes of what happened. So I saw one of this girl, I can't remember her name. Her and her husband are building a home on TikTok, but on Valentine's Day, they walked into their home that they're building, and she had just hit like 100 and something followers, and he had the foundation of their home with like balloons everywhere, 100K, like just supporting her and things like that. And that's really nice. And I also told her, know the person that you're dating as well. Like if you know that you have a man who is not making millions and millions, let that be okay. He doesn't have the funds to be buying Chanel's and doing all of this and doing all of that, and meet him where he's at. Is that okay with you though? Because that's her story. You don't know what's to happen or what's to come in your story. But being able to comparing your journey to someone else's is just a no. But same thing with friendships. Getting on Instagram or whatever, seeing certain friends show up for friends. I definitely, the 4 agreements would say, don't take it personal. Agreement number 2. But it's something about getting on Instagram or getting on something and seeing your friends pick and choose who they show up for, and they don't have that same intentionality about you.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to so yes, I do feel like they've made it worse. And I also feel like those are conversations that people should be having.
100%.
Like in my group of friends, no conversation is off limits. If you've treated me wrong or I feel slighted or something hurt my feelings, we're talking about it. Be able to have those hard conversations to save the relationships that are genuine to you. Stop being the I don't care or I hate the term cutoff queen or king. Like, what are we doing?
Crazy, too nonchalant.
Are you kidding
No,
me?
I love the conversation about comparison because you mentioned it, right? You don't know what their journey looks like. You might see what it looks like right here, this end goal, but you don't know what they had to go through, right? Like, you don't know, somebody might have some bread on them. You don't know what they inherited from losing a loved one, right? Like somebody they might have this extravagant Valentine's Day because bro was on some bullshit for a couple of months. And now he got to go, like,
He got to go hard.
He got to go hard.
He going broke because of that. He bought your Chanel bag with 8, 9, 10 racks, and now you
got
to help pay the mortgage next month.
You feel me? Like you never know. Like you see the highlight reel, but you don't know the work that went in at practice.
That's even helpful for me. The work that went in. I think that, myself included, I always say, I don't want your potential, come potential, is what I say. What is a healthy balance of putting in the work with someone or in any ship versus coming put together? Because if I think about it,
okay, keep going.
This was not put together 2 months ago. Even this is new as of 2 weeks ago. This signed 2-3 weeks ago. You've been in my old office. Last year I was in an office down the hall. So the potential I saw, I didn't come potential.
Yeah,
I saw the vision. But how do we? What's the healthy balance between putting in the work with someone versus like, no, I'm not even finna waste my time.
Goes right back to that leaving room for growth.
Okay.
Right. Like I think you a sports girly from our conversation with that, right? And I think a lot of times when I think about potential, I think to draft picks, right?
Okay.
So the best players tend to go to the worst team
Yep. Because they get the number one,
because they get
top
the number
spots.
one pick.
Yeah.
So it's a word in there.
Yeah.
You might be the best out of your class, and you're going to the situation has the biggest opportunity for improvement and growth. Right? So now the expectations of you are heavier. Versus if you are, unless you're Bronny James and you go 55th and they act like you.
Listen.
But that's a whole nother conversation, right? But if you are a lower draft pick, talent level is obviously where it needs to be, but you're going into a situation that gives you more room to grow, more room to be cultivated. So from a relationship standpoint, right, like when you talk potential or coming potential, if you are stepping into a relationship with somebody, I don't want to say obviously, but it's a clear that you are looking for something to help your situation be better and grow, right? And since you're allowing this thing in, are you giving it room to grow? Are you watering it?
The grass is green where you water
The
it.
grass is always greener where you water it, right? And so I think that's, again, a thing that I see a lot of times. And I speak from experience, not expertise. I speak from experience, right? Me and my wife been together since we was 19,
Okay.
right? And in that, we have grown so much collectively and individually.
Yeah.
And if we hadn't had the space to grow, who knows what this would look like for us, right? And when I think to relationship,
Did you ever feel like y'all were growing without each other?
no.
Okay.
Like, I think our path, like we had like a quick stint where we was trying to figure some things out.
Yeah.
This was early on,
Yeah.
right? But I think we give each other enough space to grow, conversation enough to grow, right? And that's so important in any relationship. Like, I had a whole bunch of homeboys when we first got together, and our relationships became stagnant because I was growing over here with my wife, my girlfriend at the time, right? Respectfully, the homies have struggled to grow relationships.
Yeah.
I don't want to say struggle, but I've seen where they've had relationships not meet the
Yeah.
full potential they
They
needed it to
weren't
be.
able to cultivate them the way
You
absolutely.
feel me? And so I think about that.
Especially being that young too. If you were 19 if y'all were 19 at the time, yeah.
I'm 36 now, 37, 36. I'm a little older now.
Yeah.
Right? But I think with all relationships, right, like people, two-sided, people either allow people in based on potential, and it's like, yo, I see what you can grow into,
Yeah.
but you can't force it to grow. You just have to create an environment that allows growth. You go buy some seeds from, I'm big on analogy, you go buy some seeds from the plant store, you better not plant them joints in the winter. Right? Like, what
That's a
season
bar.
are we in?
But you just gave me, I was thinking about what we were talking about earlier, like off camera and stuff like that. Like, that's even helpful for me.
Yeah.
Cultivating the ground, the space, what's the soil look like? Is it sunny? Do we need fertilizer? Can they just be? Are you making sure that you have the capacity to? That's
Yes.
helpful.
Do I know my goal? Going back to teams, right? Like, teams know what their goal is. The front office knows what the goal is of this team. Obviously, as individuals, we are our own front office, but they know what the goal is of this team. As we bring this person in, are they going to meet our goals? Are they going to meet our long-term goals? Are they going to meet our short-term goals?
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's a big piece about potential.
Okay. That's helpful.
'Cause potential is limitless, but it shrinks when it has no room.
You might have just ate me up.
I'm just saying.
Potential. Say it again.
Potential is limitless.
Okay.
But it shrinks when it has no room.
Potential is limitless when it shrinks when it has no room.
There's a certain fish. I don't know exactly what the fish is, but they say that fish will grow based on the size of the environment that it's in.
I'm about to Google that.
So I don't know what fish it is, but if you put it in a small tank,
Fish that grows
based on the size of the environment.
based on the size of the environment. It's called what? No ways. What? It's not a goldfish. Can't be. Did you know that?
It might be a goldfish.
Yes, they continue to grow throughout their lives and they will accommodate and adapt to whatever tank that they're in.
So think about that.
Poor conditions stunt growth and lead to deformities.
It's a bar.
Yes.
It's nature, right? So it's
Wow.
about giving people space, right?
Okay.
And if you love somebody, if you care enough for somebody, with respect to your boundaries, right? Then I think then you will give them the space to grow. But if you chasing, if you comparing, if you don't see the vision,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
feel me?
Yeah.
You won't ever give them space to grow. And then that's why folks will end up with somebody else and be like, damn, when they was with me, they never did this when they was with me. They never gave me this. Or did you give them space to feel comfortable, to feel confident, to do these things? So, and
That
I'm
is
no
so
therapist, I'm just a
good.
coach.
That is so good. Oh my gosh.
All right, Gabby. So our last segment, we're gonna do some rapid fire questions
Okay.
real quick, right? So with these questions, I just want you to give an answer. You don't have to think too deep, and I
Okay.
know you're gonna want to think deep. Don't
Okay.
think too deep.
Not thinking too deep.
The one caveat is you can, after you answer, you can go deeper on your response, or we can just go to the next question. You let me know.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just ask you a question, and you give me your response.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
What is one habit that you refuse to break?
The gym.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Therapy or prayer? What is the first move when life gets heavy?
Prayer and worship.
And worship.
Yes. If I'm feeling it, if I'm in, it's one of them days, I will straight break out in prayer. I will blast worship music till I don't care where I'm at. My clients have walked and heard, seen me in full worship,
Yeah.
respectfully. But that is worship. Worship is my weapon, and it changes things. It changes the environments. It allows me to get in God presence immediately, which prepares me for a shift.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. One book or quote that changed your mindset.
One book. I'm thinking of. It's by Lisa Turquoise,
Okay.
and I want to say it's called Unforgiven. And let me see, Lisa. I want to make sure it's called this, Lisa, or Forgiving What You Can't Forget is what it's called. There's another book that she has that's called Unforgiving or something like that. But that's really one of my favorite books, Forgiving What You Can't Forget. And then The Body Keeps the Score. And The Body Keeps the Score is about, I was talking about my nervous system earlier. I was talking about how no matter what you go through in your life, your body's always going to keep score of what it is. So Big Sam could be sitting here feeling anxious right now for whatever reason. He might not know, but his body is having a physiological response. And at some point in time, Sam has been in the same environment or whatever the case is, and it hasn't been maybe the most helpful. Maybe it's been harmful, whatever that looks like. You might have forgot about it and suppressed it. Your body cannot forget any kind of traumatic response or anything. So your body keeps the score of everything. Just being in situations. And that really taught me about my nervous system, which is why I won't be around anybody if my nervous system cannot be calm, because it's kept score of a lot of things. So those two.
I love it. Oh, I love it. Okay. What is a relationship red flag that people ignore too often?
Relationship red flag that people ignore too often. I would say limiting your time with your friends. And I say that because it can turn into, well, why are you hanging out with, like, control is what
Okay.
that comes down to. Well, I don't want you hanging out with them because yada, 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 or they're not good for you. Attempting to isolate, well, I don't know why you always got to spend time with your family, yada, yada, whatever the case is. Attempting to isolate you so that you don't have the ability to sustain healthy interpersonal relationships or be in community. That is probably the biggest. And I would say lack of stability. You moving around, you not planted nowhere, you everywhere, and that's in everything. You not planted in a home, you not planted in a church, you just free-nilly wherever. You're not rooted in anything.
Yeah.
So if you're not rooted in anything, a wind blow, you get a big gust of wind, you're going to fly away with it.
Yeah.
So I would say those are the two.
I love it. I love it. Okay, Gabby, my last question.
Yes.
Gabby, now, you've talked about the things you've learned, you've unlearned, your growth, relationships, things of that nature. What is one thing that Gabby now would tell Gabby 10 years ago?
How old was I 10 years ago? 20. Whew. 20 years old. This is a really hard question, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to sit with this for a sec. 10 years ago, thinking about that time in my life. When someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. And Gabby, remember that the best indicator of future behavior is past/present relevant behavior. The best indicator of future behavior is past/present relevant behavior. And I say that because believing who they are the first time, that doesn't mean take them back. That doesn't mean it means forgive them and release them. That everybody doesn't deserve access to you. Yes, people can and will and do change. The best indicator of future behavior is past/present relevant behavior. What have they shown me? Present tense, to let them know that things have different. I want to end with, have you heard of this poem?
Let me hear it.
There's a poem about a hole in the sidewalk. And I feel like I share this all the time, but I just can't. It literally, Sam, it's how I live my life. It's become a part of who I am. Chapter one. I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend that I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's a habit, but my eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down another street. That poem has changed my life, because are we walking around the hole? Are we walking and peeking in the hole and then jumping in? Or are we walking down a completely different street now? If not, how are you going to walk down another street to ensure that you don't end up back at chapter 3 where it says, it's a habit. I know where I'm here, why I'm here. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Most people don't get out immediately, though. We stay stuck there for a little bit of time.
Right.
Walk down a different street.
Can we patch the hole up?
Yeah. Nah. You don't even. What are we, actually, I'm not going to say no. What are we patching the hole with? And why do we want to patch it as opposed to avoiding it altogether?
What if we don't want somebody else to fall down the hole?
Ooh, that's good. If we don't want them to fall down the hole, does that mean that we can also direct them to a different street or walking around it?
Bars.
I like this. I don't know. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Listen, if we can, I think of like construction. Construction workers, what is that? Concrete. Can we go and put some concrete in it so that then it's not a hole there at all anymore? Now they can just walk over it.
Yeah.
Because what if the street that they're walking down is the street that's meant for them, but it's a big ass hole there that they just can't. What if there is no room?
They don't know how to fix the hole, so now we're avoiding the hole. First, let's get the tools to repair this hole so nobody else hurts themselves.
I like that.
I'm just thinking out loud.
Period.
Well, Gabby, I'm prayerful, confident, and hopeful that everything that is yours continues to meet you halfway. I appreciate you sitting down and thinking out loud with me.
Absolutely.
Love you, friend.
Thank you for having me. I love you too.
Yes.
We did this.
We did
You
this.
did this.
We did it. We did it. This has been Thinking Out Loud with Samuel David, my special guest, Gabbi Jones. And we are out.
Look both ways when you cross that street. Dot your I's and cross your T's. Measure twice, but cut once. Love life, live it up, bruh. The dream is good, do the work too. There ain't nothing you can't work through. And there ain't nothing I can't handle. There ain't nothing I can't handle. I look to the sky. And I thank God that I'm alive. I look to my wife. And I thank God she by my side. I've been through a lot, but I survived. It weighs on my heart from time to time. But there ain't nothing I can't handle.